So we all love a curry takeaway, don't we? But what if you could get that same restaurant quality curry at home with half the effort and double the veggies and all in one pot with the rice too in the InstantPot Mini? So today I'm going to show you my ultimate cheat recipe that I use when life is just a little bit too much, but I've got to have a curry. So we're going to use my favourite shortcut, but we're also going to make it so much nicer and get the best value from money by bulking it out with some lentils, extra fibre too, and adding some extra veggies in as well as the chicken. So we'll get 3 to 4 servings of the curry, so you can have some for now and get the rest of it in the fridge for a quick reheat on another night. What a treat. So let me show you how it's done. We start by setting the Instant Pot on Sautéing. And the first rule of cooking with stainless steel is that we need to make sure our pot is nice and hot before you even add the oil. So the Instant Pot is going to help you out, because when it has gone through its preheat, it's going to beep and let you know, and then you know you're ready to add your oil. While we wait for that preheat to go, let me show you the curry kit, and it's from the Tailor brand. I'm not sponsored by them, and the chef behind that is Anjum Anand, who is one of my favourite cookery book writers for Indian food. So when I first saw these, I couldn't resist. Now, the one I'm cooking with tonight is the classic Balti curry. There's a whole range of these things, and it's a medium curry kit. It's not super cheap, but it doesn't contain any ultra processed foods. It's really well made. So it's in 3 parts. So the first part, we've got the whole spices, and we're going to cook those up shortly. And then the second part is your first curry paste mix, and that's going to go in second, funnily enough. And then the third part is a larger curry sauce, and we will put that in as one of the last ingredients before we get cooking. So it's all super simple with these curry kits. Now we're just waiting for the Instant Pot to beep so we can get on these whole spices. So I'll get those open so we're ready to. Well, the other thing I've done in preparation is I've rinsed off white basmati rice. You could also use jasmine rice for this, and we're going to cook that pot in pot. And if you don't know what pot in pot is, you're going to enjoy this video, so keep watching. Oh, there's our beep for the preheat. So let's get in some oil. And we're just going to drop in those dry spices and just let those begin to cook. Those into the oil. That's a good start. It smells really nice. So now that spicy aroma is coming up, I'm going to start cooking that chicken. And what I've got here are some chicken thighs that I've diced up into small pieces. And chicken thigh is a great meat to use when pressure cooking, because it can take quite a lot of pressure. It's more flexible on time than chicken breast, so it works really well for this one pot dish when I'm also going to be cooking the rice at the same time. So I'm going to take my chicken and just give it a quick browning off, just for a little bit of extra flavour. And I just pop these in one by one, and that means the Instant Pot stays hot and gives them a better browning off. If you just chuck everything in, the Instant Pot will lose its temperature quite quickly and start to kind of steam it rather than brown it. So if you can, do as I'm doing, get yourself a pair of tongs and just pop them in one by one. All in. I'm going to add a little bit of black pepper at this stage. I always add black pepper to curries. I think black pepper and turmeric kind of work together, and also I just love black pepper. And I'll also give a little bit of seasoning, because I've used these curry sauces before and they're not too salty. We've got a little bit of colour on that chicken, and so now let's get in there and get the first layer of sauce added. In it goes, and give that a stir in. Ooh, that is smelling good. Now I'm just rubbing away at the bottom of the pot there to deglaze it a bit, and this sauce is thin enough to do that. If it wasn't, I'd just add a little tiny bit of stock. We want to make sure we've just scraped off any bits that were clinging to the bottom before we pressure cook, and that helps to avoid that burn notice you'll hear about. And now I'm going to add my ½ cup of rinsed lentils. And a quick stir. Now I'm going to add that third part of the spice mix in. This is like a thicker sauce. Give that a stir. So that's our main ingredients in there, but I know if I cooked it at this point it wouldn't come to pressure. It hasn't got enough liquid, so I'm adding 1½ cups of water. That should be plenty of water to soak up those lentils. What you don't want to do is not have enough water for the pressure cooker to get to pressure, or if you haven't put enough in, it's going to start burning on the bottom and you'll get that burn notice. That's all the burn notice is. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I've done a whole video on the burn notice. So I'll link that in the description, and maybe somewhere here. We'll be adding the rest of our ingredients at the end. So now all we need to do is remember that this is a 1-pot dish. So we need to add our rice, don't we? Let's turn off Sauté. And we've got our pre-rinsed rice here, and I'm going to use my trusty little shallow bowl, very important for this Instant Pot Mini 4-quart. So in the rice goes, and I'm going to use a 1-to-1 ratio with water. Add that to our pot of rice, give it a little swizzle, and now we're going to just use a trivet and pop that into the Mini. Oh, it's hit a bit of chicken. Let's get it so it's nice and flat. We'll put the lid on. That's our rice in. I've got this little thing here closed, and it just helps to prevent any kind of dripping water going into the rice, so you'll get a better result with your rice if you cover that over. So let's get the lid on. So we've got that on pressure cook high for 3 minutes. It will take a couple of minutes or so to come to pressure. Then it will go into its cooking cycle for 3 minutes. And then I'm going to leave it for sort of 10 to 12 minutes to let everything finish cooking and to begin to let out the steam on natural release. And then we'll see what we've got. And if we've not met before, by the way, I'm Susan from Cooking and Calm. So if you're interested in Instant Pot cooking, subscribe to the channel and you'll see all my videos as they come out, hopefully. So let's leave that alone, and then we'll be back to see what the curry's like, finish it off, and we'll all be done very quickly, and you're going to be amazed at the result. Okay, so I relaxed a little bit too long with my cup of chamomile tea, but the Instant Pot now has finished, and it's been on natural release for 13 minutes, so it's been quietly letting go of some of the steam, and our job now is to let out the rest of that steam, and we're going to do that by doing what's called a quick release. So the pink pin has dropped and we're ready to open the pot. Let's press cancel, and let's open that up. Now normally I would just set the lid there, but because I'm filming I need to put it to one side, so let's move that and just take off that lid. So there we have perfectly cooked basmati rice. This is an optional step, so I'm going to just pop a cloth over the top and then rest that silicone lid back on top, and that will keep nice and warm until I've got everything else done. And let's take out our trivet. Dried red pepper has come to the top, so let's take that out. Give that a bit of a stir. I'm going to check that for seasoning before I add the rest of the ingredients. Well, that's good. I put a little bit more salt in. Totally optional, but I do love to put a little bit of lemon juice in for seasoning at the end of a thick, kind of unctuous curry like this. Just balances the seasoning a bit. I'm going to stir in these green peas, and these are pretty much defrosted now, so they just need a quick warm through. And if you need to, you can just pop the Instant Pot on saute to kind of give this a bit of extra heat. And I've shredded the greens that I have. I'd normally put more in or use frozen spinach. This is what I've got, so this is what is going in. So we'll drop those in, and again just stir those through. Oh yeah, That is a really nice, quite mellow curry actually. It's got a little bit of a hit, just like curries should have. I'd say mild to medium if you're in the UK. So this is ready to serve up now. The rice is perfectly cooked and that chicken is super tender, and we'll add a bit of Greek yogurt and some coriander or parsley, and maybe even one of my homemade flatbreads if there's any in the freezer. And if you like this dish and doing everything in one pot, I think you might like my one pot pasta dish. So if you'd like to see that one, have a look at this video here, and whatever it is you're doing next, may your kitchen be calm and your food always be good. And I'll see you next time.